So I'm 44 years old. You know, I've had 3 children. My body's never been better. I obviously have had cosmetic treatments, and I'm definitely, you know, all for, you know, rejuvenation techniques to try and maintain a level of appearance. But I think for me, it is about feeling good. And when I started to really look after myself and be my own, I've said this before, but be my own best friend in terms of, you know, cutting out the drinking and walking every day and meditation and really looking at what I was consuming and putting into my body, that's when I really started to look and feel my best.
You know what, do you have like did you have a conscious thought that, you know, I'm going to go after the rest of my life feeling and looking how I feel, not what society expects me to be at, you know, a mother of 3 or divorced twice or in my 40s? Did you have people you looked up to?
Yeah, I beat myself up for a long time after the second divorce. That was 8 years ago, and I really felt, you know, I had failed, and there was a certain amount of shame attached to that for me, which I had to work really hard on. In terms of mentors, I was fortunate enough at the start of my nursing career to get a job with Dr. Brian Mendelsohn, and you know, I was an injector before I went and worked for him. So I started with him in 2005, and I started injecting in 2004. And he would often say to the patients, you know, if you're not happy when you look in the mirror, you know, you need to do something about that specific thing that you keep focusing on. But he also, you know, spoke about and also wrote in his book about we don't feel any older inside. I still feel the same. I still feel like I'm 18. You know, I really, really do. And it's just and maintaining, you know, a level of self-care, self-esteem. And I think for me in 2018, I was definitely sort of struggling with alcohol consumption sort of every second weekend when I didn't have my sons, and working really hard. The business was doing well, but then sort of going out and enjoying life a little bit too much. And I suppose that's when I started my 75 hard journey. And
yeah, you did that. How did you hear about 75 hard, and what made you think that this was going to be the thing, that the vehicle to light the fuse?
Well, for me, it was that 75 hard, you know, one of the components is you cannot drink alcohol for 75 days. So for me, it was showing up for myself, that long stint of sobriety, that the cloud, alcohol is a depressant. Okay, so it was the cloud, the fog had sort of lifted. I shredded. I lost 8.5 kilos, and I bought a double mountain buggy pram then, and I just walked and walked and walked. So walking, and I lost the weight after the children. So fast forward to 2018, I really do think my body responds really well to walking. But yeah, the twice daily exercise is a lot, but also the water, also the no alcohol.
What about your sexuality? Do you find that, like, from feeling better and younger and healthier, it's like it's such an aphrodisiac? I found that it just completely changed all my energy levels.
Yeah, I definitely feel very very energized, very empowered. Yeah, I've always been very comfortable with my sexuality. So but definitely that part of my life has definitely gotten better since I've gotten older, for sure.
And do you know, as you've gotten older, what have you learned about longevity, vitality, beauty? What are some of the things that you think, oh my God, I wish I knew that in my 20s, or I wish I knew that in my 30s? My body really likes this.
I wish I'd been on metformin longer. That I suppose alcohol for me has been the number one. Like, I just wish I'd never drank. I wish I'd never started. It just never agreed with me. And it's just like a poison in my body. Even now, like sometimes when I'm with my boyfriend, he might have a gin and I will join him for 1 or 2. very occasionally. And the next day I literally wake up with nausea. Like it's like I've had a full bottle. Like it just, my body repels it. It just isn't for me. So that's one thing I wish I had known.
So aesthetic things or biohacking things, do you do any saunas, cryotherapy? Are you interested in kind of the science of rejuvenation, which, you know, is has started in the sports area? So I'm sure your boyfriend is all across that too. I love it. I love reading things from the sports arena because they're really clever at it. So has he shared any great insights with you on recovery and rejuvenation from that industry?
Yeah, so cold therapy for sure. I have a cold shower every day. It was very difficult for me to start that. That's been a huge hurdle for me. But I also, whether I'm in Sydney or Melbourne, I try and go into the ocean. No matter whether it's winter or summer, I will get into the water and do some cold therapy. I get into my pool when I'm in Albury in the winter as well. So cold therapy for sure. I love infrared saunas as well. And
do you have one? What are some of the things that from your clinical work, you know, are underrated but extremely powerful, you know, beautifying rituals that you can teach people about?
Well, I think for me, vitamin A at night is like one of my just, you know, sometimes my beauty routine is always cleansing, but always if I've only got ever two things, it'd be a cleanser and a vitamin A serum or a vitamin A cream, or I have a prescription of stevia when I like to sort of turn the cells over a bit quicker. Vitamin A definitely is very underrated. I also would never ever have another filler again if I had to give up Botox.
What do you think about this, the concept of building up our own collagen and working with modalities that, you know, boost the scaffolding, which is the collagen, and versus filling and muscle relaxants?
I think that's great. I think it's really good. I mean, I think that's why the threads have been very a nice surprise. As I said to you earlier in our conversation, I was originally trained in Melbourne as a cosmetic nurse in 2004. And I mean, that was during the Gangland War. I mean, that's how old you know, we were only really injecting marionette lines, nasolabial folds and lips. And
are there any, on the surgical side of things, are there anything, is there anything that you've had, and is there anything that you're curious about?
I think liposuctions, you know, are a very good thing. Especially for smaller people. Dr. Mendelsohn had done liposuction all through my jawline when I was 25, and it was quite a significant result. I'm not a big fan of the double chin injections. I just find that for the downtime and the results that in the patients that I treated, the satisfaction was quite low. And I have to really be able to believe in a treatment. For me, I just didn't see that the results were that significant. So yeah, I think upper lid surgery is definitely something that is a wonderful treatment in the right hands.
What do you think is the future of longevity and anti-aging beauty?
I think that's the exciting thing. I think it's just evolving. But I think for me, what I've learned from reading Dr. David Sinclair's work is I think that's where it's heading. You know, actually turning back the clock and making and taking steps to make the cells younger. You know, and I think that his work is just really, really exciting, and that's why I follow his protocol.
What do you think is the most youthful, productive, other than walking? What have you found really has worked for your body to keep it looking young?
I'm a big fan of Tracy Anderson method.
Oh, so, you do it? I've never done it.
Yeah, massive fan. I I did ballet for 11 years. So I have a background in dance. So for me, that's a really, really fun workout. I find music is therapy for me as well.
Definitely.
That's why the walking's so important for me, because listening to music really raises my vibration and makes me feel really positive. Because of the dance, I started Pilates when I was 12 years old. My dance teacher was really beyond her years. And yeah, so Pilates for me is another big one, whether it's reformer. It's been really hard with the lockdowns. I've had to sort of give away the reformer, but even an advanced mat class is really good for the body, and it just reaches so many different muscles. And also, obviously, weights for bone density. And I just find, look at elderly people. They're frail, and that's been the number one thing for me, because I want to live till I'm 120, and that's my goal. And I saw a podcast on a gentleman speak on Tom Bilyeu's podcast about,
I love that.
and they just don't move. So for me, flexibility and strength, and I can only get that too through weight training. So I have kettlebells and leg weights, and I maintain even at home. I'm lifting in some capacity. I've got 20-litre, water containers, and I'll squat with them, like whatever it takes. I think that's really important.